Chapter 6. How to stay healthy using the ancient science of Ayurveda. When diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. Ayurvedic proverb. Importance of emotional release in one's health, transforming negative emotions. Negative emotions like anger, anxiety, fear, and others greatly affect one's gut flora, which in return affects one's overall health status. The immune system fights off diseases, but weakens with every negative emotion that a person has or is experiencing and therefore malfunctions. Just recently in social media, the question, "Can one die due to a broken heart?" has become viral and trending. Others simply laugh the question off, but it is alarming to know that health experts have yes as an answer. Indeed, one may die of a broken heart, as explained by experts. Death is a possible scenario simply because when one is broken-hearted, then the negative emotion tends to rule one's whole being, that his organs start malfunctioning. Depending on the length of the broken-heartedness, plus the strength of one's immune system, organ failure, especially of the heart and liver, is sure to follow, and therefore may lead to death. The importance of knowing how to cleanse oneself of negative emotion is therefore vital in being healthy. Holistically. But it doesn't mean, though, that one should simply brush off his emotion because they are negative. This is not what is meant in Ayurveda. The science has much respect for the humane in all of us. Therefore, acknowledges that everybody is susceptible to negative emotions on a daily basis. What Ayurveda tries to remind and teach is that though it is human and natural to feel and experience negative emotions, it is dependent on a person if he or she will allow the emotion to rule his life. Once one feels the onset of these negative emotions, it is just right to acknowledge that it is there. Once one feels the onset of these negative emotions, it is just right to acknowledge that it is there, one feels. But the important next step is how one deals with it, simply because it cannot stay long enough to cause damage in one's dosha. There are recommendations in Ayurveda that are known to be effective in dealing with negative emotions. Gems, crystals, yoga practice, diet alteration, and meditation. What is important is for one to know what works for them. 10 factors in Ayurveda that greatly affect one's health. 1. Potential causes of disease. Believe it or not, one also has the capacity to attract diseases. This is the principle of like attracts like. One's mind is a very powerful magnet. If a person thinks he is to get sick, most likely he will. It is not because he seemingly wished for it, but because thinking of that one is sick is enough to cause anxiety and other negative emotion, thus weakening the immune system. The good thing is, the same principle applies to feeling good or better. When one thinks positively, then it is most likely that he will not be prone to diseases due to the happy hormones released in his body. 2. Seasons. The change in season is inevitable. It is how one adjusts that makes him in control of his health. For example, during winter, due to the cold wind, Vata individuals are most prone to diseases. To reverse the effect of the season, eating warm or spicy food will help a Vata individual's dosha function well. This reminds readers of the importance of giving it time and effort to know his constitution. 3. Food and diet. Already discussed in the previous chapters how one may be able to know his constitution. Using this knowledge will greatly help a person know his strengths and weaknesses health-wise. To add to that, it is also important to know that there are what is termed as food combinations to keep the balance inside one's body. There are specific foods that keep the balance of the doshas, and there are foods that when eaten together create havoc inside the body. For example, though spicy and citrus foods may be good for Vata due to its hot content, to a Pitta it is a no-no. Dried fruits, beans, and raw food aggravate Vata individuals. A Kapha will definitely not benefit from cold drinks and dairy. Examples of wrong food combinations are the following: melon, best eaten alone, not good with anything else. Milk, eaten with fish, bread, mung beans, or sour fruits. Honey and ghee. Plants that blossom at night, potato, tomato, eggplant, and milk, yogurt, and cucumber. 4. Age. Depending on one's age, Ayurveda principles believe that specific diseases are also common to a particular age. The knowledge of this makes one understand the nature of diseases and therefore feel more confident in treating it. Childhood in Ayurveda is the time of most kapha diseases like colds, coughs, asthma, and allergies. The adult stage is the pitta stage, and is usually the mental and emotional age. That is why diseases associated with the internal organs are common: liver and heart ailments, upset stomach, arthritis, etc. The old age is the vata stage, and it also is the age of wear and tear. Diseases like Alzheimer's, joint problems, and organ malfunction are common. 5. Exercise. Exercise plays a vital role in one's overall health. Recently, many researchers claim the connection between sitting too long and one's lifespan. The more one sits, the shorter his life might be. Exercise aids in the body's elimination of toxins and regulation of breathing. Regular exercise benefits one's internal organs as well. Biking, walking, yoga, dancing, and other forms of exercise all benefit one's health. 6. Environmental elements. Although it is inevitable that pollution is everywhere, especially for those living in cities, one still has to be aware and seek healthier options as much as possible. Wearing a mask, getting outside and getting some fresh air frequently rather than staying 24/7 in air-conditioned offices, avoiding secondhand smoke, etc. are some simple ways of controlling environmental factors that affect health. 7. Stress. Let us not underestimate this 6-letter word, for it has the capability to wreak havoc in one's entire immune system. The habit of being aware of the things that upset and stress us becomes our weapon for health. Stress can cause cancer, alopecia, and other threatening ailments when not addressed properly. One can find his happy place: a beach, a loved one, a movie, an exercise routine, food, art, etc. And make sure to visit at least once a month to renew. 8. Senses. Overwhelming the senses is also an unhealthy habit. For example, too much exposure to bright screens due to cellular phone addiction, hours of earphone usage, preference to too much spicy food, sunbathing without proper protection, or even simply the wearing of too much perfume affects one's health. Our senses are important not just physically, but to our souls and minds as well. Proper care and moderation and indulgence of our senses is a great factor in one's health status. 9. Relationships. When one strives to make his relationships a source of happiness and not a battlefield, then he is most likely to have a longer lifespan. Relationships are great determinants of one's emotional well-being. It is always healing to have other people genuinely care for one. 10. Prakruti, knowing our psychological constitution. As they say, knowledge is power. How powerful this statement is when one applies to his own being. Knowing oneself is actually a big step in the process of preventing diseases. For example, when one knows what triggers his allergies, what makes him stressed, the type of food that upsets his digestion, etc., then it is more likely that he can avoid ailments.